Hello everyone, TLSG here, back again with another daily Marvel Snap live stream. So I hope everybody had a fantastic weekend. Mine was pretty good. We had some fun building a couple of different build-around cards. So we got to finally try out the new Wolverine in something that didn't feel like an all or nothing. It had several different play lines. And if you're viewing this after the live stream and you haven't seen the structured video, you want a more succinct kind of spotlight video, there will be a link in the description below. But thank you everybody that got here early. I appreciate everybody. We have I'm Hungry 24/7. We have Kappa Mikey. We have Ryan God. We have Vulge, Jeremiah, Alexander, Tone Lock. Kappa Mikey, I already listed you, and Ryan God. Thank you guys for being here. Burbus, SVN. Thank you guys so much. I hope that you guys are having a fantastic day. Dawid, welcome as well. I'm so glad, and Dad, welcome. I'm so glad that you guys have been able to join me. I hope that your grind for the end of the season has been good. John Connors, Ashish, thank you guys for being here. I hope that your grind for the end of the season has been good. So far, ours has been pretty decent. This is our secondary account. We haven't played on it too much. Let's see. Let's take off the chat. We haven't grinded on this one too much, so we're only at 86. But my real only goal is to get to 90 before the end of today so that we can get the 500 gold. I don't really necessarily care about the title on this one, but it would be cool if we could get the 500 gold. Esvin, you just hit 98. That's huge. Hopefully you're able to hit those last couple of ranks before the season ends. Ryan God, I went from being stuck at 40 to being stuck at 45. I mean, that's progress. Any forward progress is progress. And so we're going to go ahead and start queuing up a little bit so that maybe we can get some decent cube games, hopefully, depending on what we're running up against. I'm going to start off with the Wolverine. If we are getting just completely countered by like lockdown decks or just things that we're not able to really compete against, maybe we pivot, but I would like to be able to climb a little bit with this one. And then Ashes, yeah, let's try to get 90 today. We'd love to see you get to 95. Ooh, 95 plus would be like really popping off. Maybe we can do it. If the games go well, depends on kind of what we run into. There's a couple of decks that are tough matches for this one. Typically like your Zabu lockdown decks and maybe Silver Surfer you might have trouble competing against. Other than that, we have pretty decent matchups. Curtis, you went from 40 to 60 this season. That's good. You're right up there. Astros, oh nice upgrading on the deck overlay. Auto updating. Yeah, so we have the untapped.gg deck tracker. So the only issue that I have right now, and still something that I'm trying to work out, is if we get rocks or anything added into our deck, then it messes up the layout. It'll cut off our head a little bit. Rando, we are live. We are absolutely live. And then Pilk and Joyer, welcome. I'm glad that you're able to jump in and join us. I'm hoping to hit Infinite in one day so I can play Hogwarts Legacy. I mean, Hogwarts Legacy looks like it has some promise. And then I'm Hungry. MODOK video tonight. Absolutely. I'm going to be trying to get one up within the first couple of hours. So our 9 o'clock video, or 9 o'clock Central Standard Time, is not going to be live. I'm going to try and get it up a little bit after that. So that's going to be our video for tonight, but it'll just be a little bit delayed. But yeah, we are absolutely going to jump in with the MODOK content. I'm still a little bit uncertain of where he's going to fit best. So Dad, you said, what does MODOK do? So he discards your entire hand. And so there's going to be a couple of, I think, cool ways to use this. I think there's going to be a couple of cool ways to use this. I think the standard Hela archetype, I think he might be a trap. I think he's one that it feels like it should work well in it, but I don't think it's going to do well overall. I think there's just too many strong counterplays that could really mess him up. But I think the regular like Apocalypse Swarm discard archetype is going to be really strong. You look like Jim Halpert from The Office, especially with the hairstyle. I used to get that an awful lot, especially when that was a little bit bigger. I got it in just all the time. That, and then recently I've gotten Matt Murdock. And I mean, either one, I'm okay with either one. We start off with a 2-cube retreat. The reason that I snapped there was going into the wave lockdown, it was going to make it difficult for them to push for any of the other 2 lanes. And we had the Arnhem Zola to kind of spread out our power if we needed to. Yep, we have the Charlie Cox. Dad, I never know how to get a big Deadpool. So with this deck, the idea is not that you're shooting for a big Deadpool every single turn. So I think cards like Hulkbuster or Forge are decent when they work well, but the amount of times that they work well compared to the times that they kind of just tank, I don't think I think makes it not worth running. So like Hulkbuster, if you get it right on curve, it starts off your Deadpool huge. But the amount of times that you have that perfect hand or perfect play line is kind of few and far between. And so this one, it wants to have kind of multiple strategies that it can take on. And so we have the standard Death Wave, we have the Deadpool path, we have the Wolverine path with Arnhem Zola, which is always fun, because then that's going to create 3 Wolverines on the board. But overall, I like this archetype. And I think it definitely holds its own. I don't think it's just absurdly overpowered, but I do think it has a place. I think it kind of stands on its own 2 feet. Yeah, Stature will be good, but it's not going to be polarizing like Zabu or Silver Surfer were. So we can take out their Sunspot with our Killmonger, which is great. They do have Zabu. We don't have Wave. Even if we do, Wave against Zabu's not huge. We can't really destroy anything in this lane for a little while. I think the natural play line is going to be our Deadpool into our Killmonger. We're going to keep destroying our Deadpool. We'll take out their Sunspot. So they have the Dracula. We probably avoid the Tinker's Workshop lane. I think we make one more big Deadpool. That's going to make Death 3. Do Deadpool along with something else. It's either that or we skip here and we can do Death, She-Hulk, and Deadpool in the last turn. So that would be 30 total power. This is going to be 28, plus whatever we push with the Carnage. I think we're actually going to wait here. I think we're going to skip so we can do She-Hulk, Deadpool, and Death on the last turn. Xander, I hope they don't kill Zabu and Surfer. I hope that they just bring them within reason. Like any kind of card reduction is really, really strong. And a +3 power bonus to those cards is huge as well. And so hopefully they bring it within reason. They may not have to completely kill it, but I think it does need some decent tuning. So they discarded their Infinite. So they have a 20 power resource coming back, potentially in this lane. So pushing more than 18 power here, they'd have to invest resources over there. I think we might lose this one, but I kind of want to see it play out. Yeah, and I got the She-Hulk variant just from the collection track. I actually have the Pixel one as well, but I like this one just a little bit more. They need to Zabu cost to 5. Either cost to 5 or reduce the amount that it reduces the power. If they bring it up to 5, it's 2 in line with Sarah, and then Sarah is just going to be better in pretty much any case, I think. Leader is still playable, just needs a proper setup. It is. It's just a lot harder to do. Do they Ghost Rider in the middle? Oh. The Shang-Chi to the right. That should swing it for him. And then the Shang-Chi to mid. Oh, man. Yusuf, I'm doing well. How are you? No way, Mr. TLSG is a destroyer enjoyer. We do enjoy some good Deadpool destruction games. It's just sometimes the Shang-Chi gets the better of you. We knew we didn't have a good shot at that one. We should have played it a little more conservative. It was 1 cube versus 4. We should have just taken the tactical retreat. See, that's why Zabu needs to die. That's the case in point, Pilk. They need to make him on reveal, so only reduce the cost on next turn. I think changing him to on reveal would change the dynamic quite a bit. But that would be one. Shang-Chi has abs. He did. Wow, we drew some of our really strong starting cards. We're okay with this. It's been 2 days. I haven't seen leader. Patch wrecked him a lot. I don't know that it killed him. I think it just made him a lot more difficult to use consistently. So as where before, you could just kind of tech him into any deck, and he was a solid finisher no matter what. But now he's definitely more difficult to use. I think Zabu as a 4/4 is fine. 4/4 would give him 2 turns. I still don't like a reduction of 2. There's just so many strong 4-cost cards, and it creates so many kind of crazy play lines. So the double Spider-Man is one of the most, it can be one of the most frustrating things that came from Zabu. And I think that's one of the ones that feel like the most polarizing. Patch killed leader. I don't think it killed him. I think it just like shifted where his decency is. I think he's a lot harder to use. I don't know that he's efficient anymore, but he's playable. He's not like playing Crystal regularly bad. Like Crystal, you have to have Zabu to like even make it potentially worthwhile, and still even then she's bad. But I think leader is at least playable as a finisher. Yeah, he's no longer the best in slot to just throw in there generically. So this is what I was talking about with the tracker, and I don't know how to stop the window from resizing. And so whenever stuff gets added, it kind of blocks our face. I can resize it, but then it just kind of once the card's gone, it bounces back. So I think we're gonna do maybe Deathlock, and then we throw down Killmonger on the last turn. That would take out their Sunspot slot. Ooh, and they do let him absorb some. And so I think that's going to be a big swing. I think they're going to rely on Sunspot to win this left lane. We should be able to swing it with maybe just a Killmonger. And we swing the Korg out of mid. I think if we snap, they retreat, though. Yeah, I played a tournament on Friday night. Oh, no, we still lose. She-Hulk. The She-Hulk got us. So I played a tournament on Friday evening. And I was mainly just kind of seeing like the structure and like how it felt. TLSG, the late snapper guy. Yeah. Just to see how it felt, see kind of what decks were doing well. And I really liked the structure of it. So this one, the one that I entered, it was kind of like a free-for-all. You queued up for a match whenever you were done with yours if you wanted to. And the winner came down to just a win-loss differential. So whoever won the most games while losing the least was the one that won. So it didn't take as long as like a Swiss where you have a bracket, you have like eliminations, but at the same time you don't face everybody that's up there. So the one that beat me, the one that was in rank number 2, I never faced him, so I have no idea what kind of deck he was running. I don't know what that matchup would have looked like. Is the only issue I have with like that particular like format. Otherwise, it was incredibly seamless. Is there a world where a Mr. Negative clog deck works? Maybe take the goblins for 0-cost clog. Yeah, Rando, the issue that might have is that you're sending them power. So especially if you have a hobgoblin, you're sending them 8 power, 5 power. You're sending them 5 power. And so then it becomes really, really difficult to outpower that. You will be able to clog their space, but you're sending them valuable stuff. Rob Knight, TLSG is one of my favorite streamers, up there in the pantheon of greats alongside KM Best and Dare. Rob Knight, that's huge, because both of those guys are very knowledgeable. They're very good at the genre. They've both been doing it, I believe, quite a bit longer than I have, and so that's huge. I love hearing that, Rob. How does the deck tracker work with Cable or Mantis? I think it just leaves them highlighted because you don't necessarily know what was taken. But I don't know. That's a good question. Next time we get a Cable game, I'll take a look at it. Who would you swap out for Wave? Never Shine, good morning. Welcome. I'm glad you're able to jump in and join us, and I'm glad you're enjoying the content. Wave is kind of difficult to replace. Because Wave in like a Death Wave style is what really enables the whole thing. So that's what allows you to just destroy 2 cards and then still be able to do Death plus something else on the last turn. Whereas your opponent can only do 1. And then Ashish, she said, bro, are you gonna collab with other creators in battle mode? I'm working on a couple of things that I think will be pretty exciting, Ashish. So I mean, short answer, yes. That is the plan. Long answer, I have a couple lined up, as long as they don't kind of fall through, because, you know, scheduling conflicts and things like that. I think we need, I want to play Wave here, but I also think we need to play our Carnage, because if we don't, we could accidentally pull into Carnage and destroy our Venom in the Grand Central lane. So instead, I think we're gonna go with the Deadpool Carnage. We're not gonna Wave this game. Spider-Man's kind of tough. Mindell, thank you so much for the super chat, and for the donation. It should pop up here in a second, but I'm so glad that you're enjoying the content. Are you gonna surprise us? Yeah, I'm gonna surprise you guys, because I don't. And then here's the super chat announcement. Thank you again.
Enjoying your videos.
Yeah, I'm gonna surprise you with the creator and who the collab is with. I mean, one that I think is kind of known is I'm working with Binks to do something, but outside of that, I have a couple of others that are lined up that should be pretty good. I don't want to say anything until it's official, until we've recorded, until we can really do some teasers. But until then, I'll just say that they should be pretty good. I think they're unique enough ideas that even if the other creator wasn't decently large, I think they'd be really enjoyable to watch. Unique, hey TLSG, how is this deck performing against Zabu and Surfer Oppression? It's hit and miss. You have to play patience. It's kind of like with any other deck right now. You have to play it really, really cautiously, really patiently. You can't stand up against every deck, especially if the Zabu hits their high roll. It becomes difficult at that point. But if they don't, then you can. It's just a numbers game. Whenever you're going against the Zabu and Surfer Oppression. I didn't realize how necessarily Wave was until I got her. Yes, for this archetype, I don't think Wave is great in like every deck, because it does allow your opponent to get some value out as well. But in this one, it's that limiting factor. So it allows you to do a couple of cards versus your opponent only doing one. Burbus, have you done any ban or draft games in battle mode? So I've looked at a couple. So I really want to do both. I want to do some like ban style stuff, and I want to do some just regular draft, because I think that's one of the most fun features, one of the most fun game modes I've had where I played on Hearthstone, was like the arena mode. So doing that draft, I think it creates and really tests your game knowledge, and being able to think and look at those curves and that core value outside of like in a structured deck, I think is really interesting to see. Morning, Soggy Grape. Am I the Soggy Grape, the spider? I mean, either way, good morning. But I didn't know I was the Soggy Grape. Rex, currently at 93. Any decks you suggest to attempt a late push? Mid pool 3 with no series 4 or 5. I think what you're looking for is like a consistent performer. Not something that has huge cube gains. So something that is gonna get you those 1 and 2 cubes consistently, and then you just have to really play it patiently. But I think even identifying those is gonna be kind of difficult. So we can do Deadpool and Wave. This one looks like it's gonna be rough, especially with the Zabu, because Wave versus a Zabu doesn't restrict them as much as it does the opponent. They can still do a 4-cost and whatever other card they want. Can their dead? Yes, that might be what we needed. Was their Red Skull to get destroyed? Why don't you run Taskmaster? In this list, copying Venom or Deadpool is key. So in this version, I haven't found that I have that incredible high roll. So we're not pushing for a huge Venom or always a huge Deadpool. I found that Arnim Zola, especially with the Zabu Spider-Man kind of lockdown, 25% looks like 100% to me. Especially with the Spider-Man Zabu kind of lockdown that we found ourselves in. Do we gamble and go with the Death in Danger Room and then kill it with Arnim Zola? Either that, or we go something like Death to the right, and then Arnim Zola to hit like Wolverine or Venom. Even that's kind of small in the left lane. Yeah, I know we're going to gamble here, but which gamble do we go with? Do we go with the 25% destruction?
Oh, snap.
And we just missed out on an alert. It was under everything. So I think that was a sub. Thank you so much. Danger Room activates after the effects of the card. It does. I guess Death in middle. We don't have enough time. I think Death in middle probably would have been the better play line. I haven't reached... Ooh, we hit the Death. Wow. What a high roll. So they copy the Taskmaster to the right, which is fine. We actually sneak that one away. We will take those. The Danger Room 25% destruction really helped us with their Red Skull destroy. That'll bring us back to a -2. Yeah, Death Middle I think would have been a good one as well. And I don't think Taskmaster is bad in this style of archetype. I think I liked Taskmaster a little bit better outside of like the Death Wave core. So something where we're really pushing for a 1, 2, and then 3, maybe. So something where we're really pushing for like a big Deadpool or a big Venom. And this one is more like a consistency. So like a mid-range Deadpool, Wolverine, or Venom. And then it has the elements of the Death Wave to kind of fall back on if you don't draw those cards early. And so Taskmaster I think is fine. I just found that Arnim Zola gives us a little bit more strategic kind of maneuverability. What do you think MODOK will be best in? I think he's eventually gonna find his home. I think he'll be decent in Apocalypse discards. But outside of that, I think him and Hela is a trap. Because if you're dumping your hand on 5, you have to top deck Hela. And the chances of that happening in any particular game are typically like 1 out of 4, so like a 25% chance. That's just not a great gamble. Even if you ramp into it, at that point you're gambling on not having Hela before that point. Even if you hide it behind Invisible Woman, that's like a target for goblins, for Cosmos, for just all kind of like blocking cards, which I think hurt it quite a bit. Do you think this card will be more competitive? I don't know, gamers. Gamert? I think it's a little bit hard to tell. I think it'll be better. I think Apocalypse discard will be better, but I don't know if it ever matches up with something absurd like a location lockdown that you get from the Zabu, with the kind of crazy power push you can do with Silver Surfer so consistently, because you're still really reliant on those particular cards and drawing into your Apocalypse and drawing into your Swarm. If they're ever at the bottom of your deck, you kind of just lose. And so I think it'll be better. I don't know exactly how competitive it'll be though. You think Kang will break the game in 25.8 pieces? I have a couple of cool ideas for Kang that I think will be really neat, depending on how his interaction actually works. I'm just playing the G-Man without G-Man, but with Fury. G-Man is in Galactus? What nerf are you expecting to Silver Surfer? I would expect for it to come down to something along the lines of like +1 or +2. I think puts it more within reason. Which of the new bundles are you getting? I haven't looked at all of them. I know that the Deadpool one looks pretty promising, and I think that one. I think that one for sure, the one that comes with tokens, I think is one of the better values. How many viewers on average do you get? Loving the videos. I think that depends. I don't stream as often, so my streams aren't as like large or as consistent. The video views I average about 20,000 per video. Some tank, some do really well, some tank, but that's about the average that I tend to get. So I think we're gonna Wolverine actually might hurt us if it bounces back into cloning vats. It could hurt us a bit. I guess that's the 1 out of 3, right? Because our plan is that we do Arnim Zola on the last turn to bounce Venom to the left and the right. But if we hit Wolverine and he comes back to mid, that doesn't help us any. So I think we're just gonna do. Venom. We can throw Wolverine to the right. At least he's safe over there. Whenever Arnim Zola comes down, the Venom will destroy him. He'll bounce around from there. Burbus and Shadow King if possible. Kang counter deck, Kang Cosmo. Yeah, I'm thinking Kang, his best slot for him is going to be like a controller counter, because I think the way he's going to work is it restarts your turn. So if that includes the draw phase, you can use him as a thinner to 1, get some information on your opponent, 2, make sure that you have your counter cards or key resources, and I think that's going to be really important. So if they use Arnim Zola and Black Panther and bounce him here and here, he's only going to be 16. Our 22 Venom should beat it in the left and right. We're gonna go ahead and snap. We're not gonna slowly chip away at him. I want to try and get as many cubes as we can. We're trying to hit 90 today. Astrid, thank you so much for the super chat. Thanks for all the content, a lot of fun decks, and I always enjoy your attitude. Thank you so much. I appreciate the support. I'm so glad that you're enjoying the content. As a creator, that's honestly all that I could ask for. Should I get Taskmaster or Zola? Seto, and I think you asked if I was a whale. Yeah, I'm kind of a whale, but it's for content.
Thanks for all the awesome content. Lot of fun decks, and always enjoy your attitude.
Thank you again for the super chat and for the support. The $10 donation is huge. I can't thank you guys enough. So the Magneto into the Venom was very, very scary. If Wolverine had not dropped back into the flooded lane, we would have lost that one. We got very, very lucky with with that flip. Oh man, we will take it. We'll take luck sometimes. But the Magneto was almost devastating. Burbus, I wish I could donate. It's okay if you can't donate. Just being here, enjoying the content is always enough. But if you can, they're always greatly appreciated, but don't feel like they're required, or I know everybody's situation is different. There's some months where like I have absolutely nothing extra, and so like I completely get it. Just being here, enjoying the content is more than I could ever ask for you guys. Yeah, Wolverine buff makes the difference. He definitely liking the video is free. Hey General, that's true. Even if you can't donate, liking the video, that's a good plug. Liking the video does help extend it and let it reach a wider audience, and is always greatly appreciated. But Seto, I think for me, I've used Taskmaster more consistently than Arnim Zola, but we're gonna have to skip the Carnage. I think more recently I've been playing the Arnim Zola a little bit more, just because of the Spider-Man lock and reaching those lanes that they thought were locked down, as well as subscribing and commenting. That also helps out the algorithm a lot. I love MODOK, but super underwhelmed by the ability. Yeah, I think he's going to be cool. I think he's going to help the discard archetype a bit, but I don't think he's going to like completely derail the meta, which I honestly think we kind of need. We've had 2 months back to back with cards that just felt completely polarizing. So Silver Surfer completely changed the meta. Zabu completely changed the meta. And so I'm okay with a kind of like more niche card. I think he'll still be fun. I just don't think he's going to break it like the other 2 did. I really need to buy She-Hulk. She-Hulk is great in like Shuri ramp decks, in Death Wave. She's just really, really flexible. And so I think she is one of the better cards that have been downgraded to Series 3. Destroys my favorite archetype. I'm missing out on Venom though. If you're missing out on Venom, it might be better to go with like a traditional Death Wave. So taking out the Deadpool for like your Squirrel Girl, your more consistent Death Wave style. And then Mouthy, huge donation. You guys are so incredibly generous. I'll let it read through. Celebrate the first super chat from Mouthy. Thank you so much. I'll let it read through. but I appreciate it so very much.
Your videos and attitude are my favorite. Thank you for being so humbly great and for calling out each opponent by name no matter how awkward. Smiley face.
There are some that I have to shorten their name. There was one opponent, and I will never forget his name, that I just could not read. It was one that whenever you read it out loud, it's not necessarily appropriate. But I think it kind of I don't know. I think if I was getting matched up against, I think it would be cool. Like if I ran into any of the big streamers like Dexter, I think it'd be cool to hear my name called out in that matchup. And it's something small, but I think something pretty impactful. And then thank you again for the super chat. The support is huge. I just think MODOK and Miles represent what season pass cards should be. Yeah, I think they're a lot better when they're kind of along the mid-range side of things. And then Maxence, hi TLSG. Hi Maxence, thank you so much for joining us. I'm so glad that you're here. I didn't think about Strong Guy. Ooh, Strong Guy plus MODOK could be kind of cool. But then you would need, what, Chavez? You would need Chavez as your last card, or a card that you can guarantee play. I think it could be pretty cool. Instead of the, like, you would still need a lot of power early, but I think it could be playable for sure. You would need alternate play lines too, though, because you're not always going to draw into MODOK. And so like that'd be one play line, but making it fit where it has a couple of different outs, I think could make that very viable. So we could do Arnim Zola to push 12 and 12 to get rid of this Monster Island lane and try to compete for the left and right. It's either that, actually, no, that'd be, we have two 12 power cards that we can just play. Do we split it out, the left and right, or do we stack one onto the Monster Island lane? I didn't see what they discarded with their Hell Cow though. It's only one additional cube. We'll go ahead and gamble. We're already losing this one. I think they invest more into Wakanda, so we're gonna push for Monster Island and Nova Roma, and just see how it plays out. Actually, wow, we could have just played one over into Wakanda and been fine. Ooh, and they do have the Hela, but both of them summon into Wakanda, which is really unfortunate for them.
I'm not as rich, but you already know I love the content.
Sasuke.
From budget Mjolnir, hammer, high voltage sign.
Sasuke, and like any amount, and I don't want anyone to feel like they have to donate. Sasuke, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate the attitude, the budget Mjolnir. Even if you're not a member, finding a way to use that Mjolnir emote is always one of my favorite things. So I appreciate it. I appreciate the support, and just you being here and enjoying the content. Infinite incoming for Dracula. If it wouldn't have hit Morbius, that would have been a Dracula-sized apocalypse. We've been getting decently lucky. We had a couple of ways we could have lost that one, but we got very lucky on the end of it. Toby, for those looking for card replacements, you might find Moon Girl to work. Yeah, so Moon Girl is, in my experience, a little bit greedier. Ooh, neither of us are going to be able to play anything for turns 2 and turns 3, because Sakar pulled into wave, which is one of the awkward play lines, because it's effective here and next turn. But yeah, I find like Moon Girl is a little bit greedier of an option, but it's not bad by any means. I think today is my 2-month membership anniversary. Yeah, you do have the upgraded badge. So Dad, thank you again. I think YouTube gives you, they give you a message that you can send, like a highlighted message. I don't know how exactly you do it, but I know that the option is there. I think we're gonna do She-Hulk mid. We can do Nova. Next turn, we can do our Killmonger to take out the Sunspot. And then maybe we throw down Arnim Zola. I don't know. I think we have a decent shot, especially for missing the first, turns 2 and turns 3? Gotta try Moon Girl since the best green girl eludes me. She's good even with the Moon Girl, because then if you double down on her and you skip 1-5, you can play both of them, and a Deadpool and whatever else. So she works well with Moon Girl as well. So they pulled into their Hela, so they no longer have that as a backup plan. I think we're going to do Carnage and then Killmonger. We'll take out our Deadpool, but we also take out their big Sunspot, and then we're really just pushing for this middle, or this far right lane. Oh, Ryan God, you pulled her a day before the series drop? Oh, that's tough. Ooh, that's true. Be careful of Odin. They could have Odin, but they haven't discarded anything so far. Is Wolverine dumb and discard? That's a free 4 power that can play around destroy locations. I don't think it's... I don't think dumb is the right word for it. I think it's gonna be... I think it's gonna be decent. But getting that guaranteed value. So since you can't trigger it multiple times, it's basically going to be a 0/4, which is okay value, but it does take up a spot in your hand, and it does come down to that RNG, so Space Throne. If it bounces over there, you're kind of sunk. Same thing with Bar with No Name. So there's a couple of ways that I think Wolverine might hurt discard, but I think he's an okay spot, especially at 0/4. So they do the... Is that Odin on the left? That'd be kind of silly, right? Magneto. Not as silly. We don't beat the Magneto play. Oh, that's unfortunate. The Venom totally came back and bit us. Had we just had our Deadpool there, we would have won. That's all right. You hit 90 this morning. Blue thing, huge. Deathlock, Deadpool left. In the... Oh, I guess we could have done... Yeah, we could have done both on the left. I think the first edition pins are a really cool idea. Yeah, I think if they look cool enough, I think they're a cool idea. And for me, I like getting the cards just for the content. Like, I actually bought Shadow King, but I just haven't been able... He's bad. Like, I can't find any good deck or any good build for him. So I bought him on the day he was released, and just haven't been able to play him. So he's just kind of stuck there. But I like buying them to be able to make a video and kind of cover it and get that kind of first look at it. And then the first edition pins, I think, are just a plus. He said, hi, I use Taskmaster as She-Hulk's replacement. It surprises when it copies a 28 power Deadpool. That's true. If you get the high roll with the Deadpool, it can definitely be worthwhile. So we're going to get a decent discount on our death here. We're going to get the 2 ninjas. We can get the 2 with our Venom to destroy the Bucky Barnes and the Killmonger. That does leave us non-empty in the Shadowland lane, so we wouldn't be able to do Arnim Zola. But we do have the extra energy, so we can always skip 1/5, do a free She-Hulk. Or maybe we do Wave and we can do Death, She-Hulk, and Arnim Zola in the last turn. I think is a pretty decent play. When do the pins come in? James, I don't know. I don't know exactly when they come in. I know that they mentioned it, but I didn't see an exact date. They really got to work on ways to get tokens. I think a little bit more generous token acquisition would help how bad some of the card like releases feel. The Wong is kind of scary because if they have a Shuri, we just can't compete with it. Wong into Mystique, and they haven't snapped though, which is the scary part. They could have a greedy Silver Surfer deck, or it could just be something absurdly large. If they snapped, I'd be running. No questions asked. I'd already be retreating because we don't have any way to address or deal with the Wong Mystique. What does pull 1 etc. mean? I'm a new playing Marvel Snap. Retsu. So it means, so there's groups of cards, and you unlock those groups within a set order. So the order within that group is random, but so like Pool 1 or Series 1, you always get those cards within that set range. So it's been a little while, but I think Series 1 is from... Oh, I can't remember the range. I know that you have Series 1 and Series 2 complete by like 484. And then from there you pull 3, and pull 3 is really vast. So, bro, that's Hazmat. Yeah, that's Hazmat, Ironheart, Gambit. Any of those are just going to absolutely sink us. We're gonna dip out of that one. Yeah, the Greedy Wong Mystique play. So if you have something like an arrow to yank it out, then that setup is really scary, or an Enchantress. But we're not running a deck that runs one of those counter cards. So we'll have to retreat graciously to the greed setup. Shadow King can work as a tech card. He can, but he never felt like, I always felt like having something else was better. So every time I had an opportunity to use him, like Shang-Chi would have fit that opportunity better. An Enchantress would have fit better. And so I don't know. I have a I'm having a hard time slotting Shadow King into anything. Not getting Arrow. Arrow might be nice to add into this just for a little bit more consistency, but a lot of times it's going to become clunky. Sasuke, you said Huge Ibram? This is my second account. The other one is the Massive Whale. So I think we do Carnage here. If we get Killmonger, we get a huge discount on our death from killing all of the squirrels. Yeah, Shadow King also feels like a little bit worse Valkyrie. And so like there always seems to be a better answer whenever you could use Shadow King, is what I found, which is kind of sad. I was really excited to try and build around him because I know that not very many people were going to cover it. I just wasn't able to find anything good. Shadow King is bad because you're already behind playing on 6. Yeah, whenever you play him. Or if you play him a little bit early, that still gives them the turn to drop their Mjolnir for their Thor. They can absorb some additional energy with their Sunspot again. I don't know. Valkyrie, at least you know exactly what that game plan is going to look like, what it's going to set to, and it makes it a little bit easier to adjust for. Wait, they used Wave, right? I hope it's not a Galactus deck. That's why he's Shadow King, I guess, because you can't see him in the game because he's a shadow. Yeah, and he's such a cool character, but his ability is super lackluster. I think we're gonna wave and return. I know that they waved, but we already win Asgard. In case it's a Galactus, I think we wave again. We would gain initiative, wouldn't we? I think either way, if it's Galactus, we just lose. Because Wolverine will bounce over into Central Park if it is Galactus, and that would give us the initiative, which we don't necessarily want against like Shang-Chi counters and things like that. Oh, so it's the Magneto play. Interesting. We should actually be fine. We have the She-Hulk, we have the Death. Which I think would be all that we need. We're still winning in Asgard, even with that pull. And so we can do... I think we just split. We'll go ahead and snap. They could have a Shang-Chi, but they would have to have 2 to overcome both of those lanes. And so we force the retreat. I don't know who waves out Magneto. I don't either, Dad. Magneto, especially with us running Venom, is a much better kind of surprise turn 6 play. But yeah, I'm guessing they probably didn't draw into any other options. Matthew, hey TLSG, great to be here and really excited to tech MODOK into my your favorite help deck, your favorite discard deck. I'm glad that you're here as well, Matthew. I hope that you're having a fantastic day. I'm so glad that you're enjoying the content, and I'm excited to run the new card. I'm going to be running it later tonight. So tonight's video will be a little bit later than normal, but I'm still going to try to get it out as early as possible. He got wave from Jubilee. Oh, Yusuf, gotcha. That makes sense. We're getting to positive 10 cubes again. I'd like to get a little bit higher than that. I'd like to try to hit 90. But we'll we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I've intentionally waved in Magneto. Yeah, on Fisk Tower it makes on Fisk Tower it makes a lot of sense. Same thing with wave into like maybe even an arrow to force that card over into like an Odin to re-arrow again. But again, very super specific. So they're gonna lose their Iceman in Murd World. I don't know that we really win this one. We could wave. We could wave into a death. Wait. Oh no, that's the turn 6 play. That lets them do kind of whatever they need to as well. We're gonna do it. Wave on the right. Actually, no, I shouldn't have went wave on the right. Yeah, I thought that as well. If I played wave on the right, but that would have to be 6 energy. That was my same thought, guys. Was that if I played it over to the right and then waved, I could do both. But that's 6 energy. We would need 2 extra discount. Unfortunately, yeah. The 3 worst locations at the same time. We're gonna jump out of this one, get back into a more winnable match. I like a big card on T4. Yeah, I should have used wave just where it would stay on the board, but that chat collective L. We all had the same thought, almost at the same time, and it's okay. It's all right. It was only worth 1 cube. Yeah, at least TVA negates Mindscape. That's true. And I think Subterranean would have been worse than Mindscape. At least Mindscape you can play around. The other one you just can't. So we can hide our cards behind Dark Dimension now that that's up. We have wave for 5, so we'll be able to get a death plus something else out on the last turn. I think we use a Killmonger to further discount our death. We'll be able to do 3 cards on the last turn after we wave. We can do Killmonger, and next turn we could potentially do a Venom to kind of consolidate the Savage Land lane. I think we're doing all right. Wodar, good morning. I'm so glad that you were able to jump in and join us. And Kimmy, a TLSG stream. Yep, it is time for a TLSG stream. I'd like to actually do the Cerebro challenge at some point, but just planning out all 10 decks and getting like the setup for the on-screen display and things like that. Why didn't I opt for Wolverine mid? We could have, but it would have made for an awkward. So then, if we would have drawn our Deadpool, it would have been deciding between destroying mid and playing our Deadpool or our Nova. And I went with a little bit earlier destruction instead. But I think Wolverine would have been a fine choice. But for this one, since we had death in hand, I was aiming more towards pushing out the death discount and clearing up the lane, letting Carnage get as large as possible, and then kind of helping snowball from there. We could Venom in mid. We'll consolidate that to 10. Oh wait, no, it's turn 4. We don't want to wave. From 89, I dropped down to 82. I4, that's tough. That's definitely really tough, especially when you're like right there. So like 89.9. It does happen. Sometimes there's like a small shift that like you just couldn't anticipate or couldn't plan for. Hopefully you're able to jump back in there and climb a little bit. Holy crap, you drew a rock. Oh wow, there are 5 rocks in our deck, right? Wow. We've gotten very fortunate. Lance, after New TLSG, thank you so much for being here. I'm so glad you were able to jump in and join us. So if we thought we could draw She-Hulk, it's a 1 out of what? A 1 out of 9? If we thought we could draw She-Hulk, we would skip here. But I think otherwise the value that we get is going to be maybe in our death. And we can push death to the left and to the middle. We can play a Wolverine and maybe throw a rock out there too. Don't do it in Dark Dimension. Don't do what? Death? So the Spider-Man lock would be tough. Be careful of Dark Dimension. Yeah, that's true. And so we have the Arnim Zola. They did do the Spider-Man lock, which this is why I like the Arnim Zola, at least in like the section of the meta that I found myself in is that there's a lot of Zabu Spider-Man lock, just because it's a pretty easy, consistent climb. But being able to push power over into those lanes is always really big. Wave, I thought you'd play Wave there. Yeah, I almost did. That would be something that I would do, expecting it to go off, especially while streaming. Arm into Daredevil, or Arnhem in Dark Dimension. Oh yeah, in Dark Dimension. That should be an easy one. The buff. Hey TLSG, good day. Thank you for joining us. I'm so glad that you're here. I hope that you're having a fantastic day so far. And so we do get the 4 cubes, so we're up to a positive 6. So if we can get there, we're 87. We have a few more ranks to go. We have quite a few cubes that we need. We just need some big cube gains. It's just a few big cube wins, mitigate our cube losses, and we'll be there in no time. Is the opponent playing? It did look like a Zabu Surfer deck, so kind of like a hybrid. Which whenever those hit, they tend to hit really big, but whenever they don't, they're kind of lackluster in most cases. I'm so glad I rarely see Spider-Man. Yeah, the Spider-Man Absorbing Man combo is it can be frustrating. I don't have too much issue with it, because you could usually, like, that's a real low tempo play, but yeah, it can be really frustrating when you run into it. We do get the Wolverine. I think we're gonna play She-Hulk though. We can play She-Hulk. Next turn we can do both Wolverine and Carnage. Either that or we could do Venom to consolidate the cloning vats. So they played Iceman, Sentinel. Do you think they have the Spider-Man lock? I expect the Zabu to come down. And then if they have the double Spider-Man lock, that could be scary. I think we're going to need our Wolverine to bounce over into Sanctum Sanctorum. Infinite She-Hulk. Yeah, we just get the reoccurring She-Hulk over and over and over again. I think we are going to start trying to bounce our Wolverine over into Sanctum Sanctorum. I think that's going to be one of the biggest ways that we can win, especially since we have a 1 out of 4 chance, or 1 out of 5 left in our deck. I guess 2 out of 5. We have 2 chances to draw into Arnhem Zola for our second win, but we want to try and set up just in case. Annoying. He's very common. He's very strong, and so you see him a whole lot. I don't think he feels as bad to lose to as like a leader or a leech, but yeah, he's very common. I think that's where the frustration comes from. Hi TLSG, it's me, Marvelous. Welcome. I'm so glad that you were able to jump in and join us. Gary, interestingly, I think if you play a lower cost She-Hulk into cloning vats, it sets the new cost at its base. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it sets it to the base cost. Ooh, so they don't have the Absorbing Man. Interesting that they switched it up. We're okay with that. Yeah, kind of. Okay, nope. We were going to do... I was going to do Bucky Barnes and Venom to give one last chance for Wolverine to bounce over here. But since they retreated, we'll take the cubes. It looks like they were trying to go for the Spider-Man Absorbing Man combo, but they just didn't draw into their Absorbing Man. So we were able to sneak out 2 cubes instead. Kino, hey, how's it going? I'm so glad you were able to jump in and join us. And then Dante, so glad I caught the stream. Can't wait to try out this deck next season. Yeah, this one, I don't think it's broken or just incredibly... I don't think it breaks anything. I think it definitely has counters, but it can hold its own against a lot of matches. And so it gives me an excuse to be able to use Deadpool in a way that just doesn't feel bad. A lot of times a lot of other versions feel like if I don't draw into like our Deadpool or our Hulkbuster or our Forge and our Deadpool, that it just feels like bad to play. This one kind of gives you the best of both worlds. If we're quoting Hannah Montana. Hey, you got Shanna? That's huge. She's fun. I don't think she's super strong. I think probably in a Thanos list. I haven't tried it. I think she'd probably be decent in a Thanos list, but you pulled her naturally from the collection. If so, that's huge. And then a little bit ago, somebody asked why I don't run Null in this version. I don't have Null on this account, and I typically try not to run too many Series 4 or 5 cards. especially in like deck spotlights. I think Null probably has a space in this deck, especially with the Venom. But I think the middle ground is a little bit better. Steaming Mangoes, TLSG quoting Hannah Montana. I mean, anything is possible. It's the Zabu again. Yeah, we see Zabu all over the place. Like it's Zabu probably 50 to 60% of the games we play. Note, if you play Deadpool, you never draw them turn 1. If you play Angel or Baku, they're always in your starting hand. It's just one of those things. That's just how it happens. TMS, hey, how's it going? I'm glad you're able to jump in and join us. You pulled Crystal from the last reserve? Horizon. That's not a great one. Your next one's going to be much better. Hopefully your next one is like just one of the most overpowered Series 4, Series 5 cards you can get. Gary Stern, is there any card that I don't have that I want a lot? So up until recently, it was Thanos, but I actually pulled Thanos on this account. So on our alternate account, that's the only Series 5 card between both accounts that I've pulled from the collection. Outside of that, I've actually, between the two accounts, I have access to all of the cards. On our main account, we're missing Thanos and Sentry. On this account, we're missing pretty much all Series 5, but everything else we have. And so Thanos was one of the ones that was at the top of my list, but I didn't get it right away. And so I decided to cover some of the lesser known combos or cards. So they have the Typhoid Mary to the left. We could skip here into an Arnim Zola. We could skip here into a She-Hulk and Arnim Zola to the right. But I don't know that wins us the left lane. Actually, I know it doesn't. We would have to do a couple of things. Maybe we just wave here. It's going to bring She-Hulk down to 1. If we get death, we could do both. That might be our only way to win. We're already in for 2. And so I think wave here is probably going to be the wave left, She-Hulk, Arnim to the right. Yeah, I think you guys are right. 5 more in a guaranteed season 4 card, or series 4 card. Oh, the Magneto is so mean. We're seeing a lot of Magneto today. And that's really hurting our play line.
All systems go.
You pulled Bast? I'm still at collection level 1100. Wow. Is there any early Series 3 decks that use Bast? That early on, you could probably get away with using it in like a Khazar Zoo that runs like Squirrel Girl and a lot of like 1/1s. And then depending on what else you have, Bass is really good in like Mr. Negative style decks to set those 0 power or negative power cards to 3. That's where you get a lot of your value, but She-Hulk, Venom, Zola mid. We can't do all 3. We can only do 2. So whatever we did, it'd be a gamble. It'd be a 50-50. No. Even if we push 10 over here, we lose. This lane is just unwinnable. So 10 here, or here, it's not going to do it. It's not worth the 50-50. If hitting the Arnim Zola on She-Hulk would have won us the left lane, I would take a 50-50 flip there. Since it's only doubling the cubes, I would always take that 50-50 risk. But since it's not going to win us with that alone, there's not a reason to risk it. Yeah, Bast is decent in a Zoo style list, especially that early on, because like most of your 1 or low cost cards are going to be. You could do it with your Bishop, with your Angela. You're going to get some immediate value there. With Squirrel Girl, that gives you a lot of value, and a lot of the other like 1/1 or 1/2 cards. So if I was that early on, at least for the Bass question, I would use it in like a Khazar Zoo, and try and run with it there. Sess, just wanted to say props for also including losses in your videos. The last match in the Hazmat video was so fun to watch, even if you didn't get the win. And Sess, it's something that I don't mind showing the losses, because I don't want people to think that like every deck that I put out is just like unbeatable because that's it's unrealistic. Especially since we put out a deck every day. But a lot of times losses are just kind of boring. So if it's like a turn 3 retreat or like we identify something, we retreat early. A lot of times they're just not great or not fun to watch. But the one from yesterday I thought it was incredibly, it was so incredibly close that I thought it was definitely worth including. So every once in a while, it's not in every video, but every once in a while I definitely like to include one. Angry Jack, thanks for the answer, TLSG in chat. I will try that. No problem at all. Pulling it that early can be pretty surprising because your opponents aren't going to have access to as big of a pool. So a lot of times you're going to be able to sneak it away. YouTube metrics punish showing losses though. Pickle up, it depends. So if we're just showing like the boring ones, maybe. But I haven't noticed a huge drop off because usually the losses that I show are the ones that are like surprising. And so for me, I haven't seen like a huge drop from showing losses, but that's because it's like the incredibly close ones that could have been wins, but not just the ones where like I made a silly misplay or that we retreated out early. Those you would see a dip, but otherwise I think it's okay. I so rarely see him. I have no idea if I'm gonna win or not. Oh, to Galactus. Was it a turn 6 Galactus steaming? If so, there's a few cards that you can usually identify as like potential Galactus plays. So Wolverine is a good for a turn 6 one. If not, if it's a ramp, the Wave and Electro are pretty telltale signs. And if it's a turn 6, then the Goblin, so Hobgoblin, Green Goblin. Oh, turn 5? Yeah, usually like the ramp components and a few other cards. And then if I get Galactus, I usually retreat. If I don't have a very specific way to counter it, just because they have all of the initiative or all of the power there. Oh, this is our mod. This is Alex. It took me a long time to realize who we were playing against. My bad, Alex. We are able to move our cards. He is a very big Valkyrie enjoyer. So maybe if we can potentially avoid that. We do get the Killmonger to take away his 12 power demon. So we can actually swing or tie mid, right? I think that was probably the best top deck we could have asked for. That'd be 3. He's going to have 3 in mid. And so then do we just push for winning the left lane by more than he wins the right? I think that's what we're going to push for. Oh, wait, he can play in middle. Oh, no, what are we doing? Oof. Okay, so the arrow is actually... The arrow there's actually fine. Do we win this one? I think we win this matchup. The arrow stabbed him in the back. He does help us get up to positive 10. Yeah, careful, he revealed first and can play mid. I did overlook that. Luckily, the card he played mid helped us out. Luckily. We shouldn't have won that one. We didn't deserve that win. He played that one better than we did. We misplayed and we just got lucky. What's your favorite card in the game purely for fun? I think the one that I enjoy like the ability the most is Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel, yeah, because it's just such a unique effect that you don't see on very many cards. Never punished. Every once in a while we're punished, but today we're getting very fortunate. But I think Captain Marvel's her ability is really unique. I don't think it's broken I don't think it's broken, but I think it's just so different than what we see in the other cards that I always enjoy a good build that can incorporate her. So like the hella builds that can either resummon or drop her, and just that versatility can add so much uncertainty to the opponent that it kind of makes it one of my favorite cards to play. Just because they then have to try and calculate if it moves here and pushes power here, making sure that they win all of those, and so you can kind of outmaneuver your opponent in some steps. She-Hulk's another one. She's She-Hulk is slowly becoming one of my favorite cards. She's very versatile in like Moon Girl double down decks, or just yeah, any kind of like you can skip with her into that in a Taskmaster on the last turn. She's just a really solid card overall. So it is a Patriot build. I'm wondering if we save our Killmonger and trying to lose initiative going into that last turn to counter like an Ultron play. Depending on what else they get set up, that might be what we end up going with. We are going to destroy mid lane with our Venom, so it's not going to be a huge Venom, but it'll help us get our Winter Soldier out. It'll help us continue to push our Deadpool, and then we can go from there. You do have Deadpool in the deck. We do. Every once in a while he shows up, but most of the time he likes to hang out at the bottom. Carter Holt, what would you like to see happen to Zabu and Surfer? Zabu, I would like to see... It could honestly stay at the cost that it's at, but if the reduction goes down to 1 instead of 2, I think that would mitigate a lot of those combos. And so you could no longer do the Spider-Man Absorbing Man combo. It makes it a lot more difficult to get your value off, and I still think it makes those 4 costs incredibly valuable. Being able to do 2 on the last turn is still huge. You could still do Dracula and Ghost Rider to push a lot of value, but it just takes away some of the more annoying sides or aspects of it. And then Silver Surfer, I think cutting it down to a flat like +2 instead of +3 could be the way to go with that one. So, they flooded the far right lane, which is kind of unfortunate. That's going to mean our Arnhem Zola target is awful. Might Wolverine and Wave and try to take out the Misty Knight in mid and hold our Killmonger for like the Ultron on the last turn. Might be the way we win it. Oh no, the Blue Marvel into the Onslaught Citadel is big too. This one may be a retreat. No, this is definitely a retreat. We go back from double digits down to single. We'll see. We still have a little bit of time. We can still see maybe getting a little bit closer to 90. I'd like to hit 90, but unless we get some really big cube games, I don't know that that's going to happen. There's supposedly a leak of the changes. Surfer will be 3-2 with buffing +2, and Zabu will be 2-2. I think even at 2-2, that gives you... You can play it on turn 2. That would allow you to do Mr. Negative on turn 3. I don't know that I like the... I don't think he would need to... I honestly think he'd be fine at 3 cost. You wouldn't be able to do anything or cheat anything out early. You'd still get the value from him. 2-2, he might still be incredibly prevalent. Because then if you have the Quinjet and like a Moon Girl, you could see all kinds of crazy play lines still. Chances of you swapping decks? Yusuf, what would you rather see me play? I have a couple set up that I could play, but I know that this was one of the ones that I covered recently. It was a Series 3. It's pretty accessible. And I've had some pretty decent fun with it, and so that's what I had intended to run. But if you want to see something else, maybe we pivot for a little bit. Beast Bounce. I actually don't have one of those built. I think Beast Bounce suffers from just being hard countered by like really strong power play decks. I like the Beast Bounce archetype, but I think it's really hard to play. I think with the amount of power it can push, I think there's some decks that it just can't like hold its own against. 2-2 Zabu sounds more broken. Yeah, getting Mr. Negative off early and more consistently, getting your... But then you still have to set up. So like a Wong on 3, you still have to set up for the rest of it. But it still sounds like a tough sell. That's not that's their death, right? That's not ours. Is Hawk in any way viable without Rock Slide? I think he's okay in like a negative build, but I don't think he would be your like only win condition. I think he'd just be kind of like an added bonus. If he gets inverted, he's a 1 cost 4 power that has the high roll of just being incredibly large. But I don't think at that point you just completely build around him. I wonder if they're running Galactus. Because the Wolverine looks like a Galactus, the Death looks like a Galactus, the Wave. So if they have the Galactus already, the Hobgoblin's going to stop it. We'll go ahead and snap before we lock in the Daredevil play. See if we can force the retreat. You don't have negative either. In that case, probably not. In most cases, he's just going to be a 4/7, which is decent, but I think there's better play lines out there. Dominic, I run Captain Marvel and Doom in my Destroy deck. Gained a lot of cubes off the surprise factor. Yeah, and I think that's like long-term for getting like big net cubes. I think having some kind of factor that is surprising or out of the norm, that doesn't make it feel clunky or awkward, can help win a lot of those kind of surprising factor games. And so those you can force 4 and 8 cubes just off of those alone, which I think is really big. Two Zabu with 1 reduction means at most we can play 5 4 costs. But even 5 4 costs are going to be pretty big. You can set it up if you have the Moon Girl, it'd give you a reason to use Moon Girl more consistently. Is this the line? Do we use their own Galactus against them? Do we think they play more than 10 power in Weird World? We can't not do it. There's no way we pass up on the Galactus opportunity. We're gonna send it. So they do play over into Weird World. We'll see. We'll see if it's enough. If they play a Null, expecting the Wolverine... Oh, no. I forgot about the Wolverine. Oh, this could be bad. Oh, no. Our Wolverine bounces over there, too. I forgot about our Wolverine. And their Destroyer just... Okay, no. Oh, no. They called it. Oh, no. It was it was glorious until he knew we had his Galactus. Oh, no. So what would have happened if we didn't do that? That was... there goes our cubes. What is their deck, though? We got baited. We got baited so hard. I can't even be mad. Looks like every one of my games, it was worth a shot. Man, that might be one for a short. That was a glorious death. But that might be. Sorry about your cubes. No, it's okay. If we don't hit 90, it's like this is our alternate account. So if it doesn't, that's okay. Destroyer Galactus Control. Yeah, that was impressive. Had we not top decked Galactus there, I think we would have. I don't know. We may have still had a shot, but oof, that was good. I actually don't like Bucky Barnes into Kamartaj, because then we can't Deathlock. We could Venom and it would double destroy it, but Deathlock or Carnage wouldn't be a good option. I think we'll play over to the left instead. Just got Valkyrie. What's a good deck for her? Valkyrie's tough to use. She can be good. I know one of our mods in the chat, Alexander. He's a huge Valkyrie player. I haven't played her enough to know a great deck for her. I did see another content creator ran like a Death Wave with Valkyrie, which was kind of cool. Because then you can out position or play more cards than they can in Valkyrie if you need to. I don't know. Actually, we can skip here and play She-Hulk, right? 3/2 Surfer nerf would also likely kill negative Surfer. That's true. So like the negative Surfer aspect of it. So you would still do maybe like a Zabu. But Jonas, if you're in the Discord, I know that Alexander has shared a lot of the Valkyrie decks. I don't have one offhand or off the top of my head, but he has shared and played a lot. Have you ever played Hearthstone or HS? Yeah, I used to play that. That's the game that I was playing just before switching over to Snap. And so I was hitting legendary rank, and then from there I didn't really grind too much. But yeah, I was hitting legendary each season. It was right around the time Control Warrior was really big. The it's the sea creature. I don't remember his name. It was the sea creature that would create the Colossus monsters is what they had just released. That's what I was playing just before this. And so they take away our abilities. I don't know that we have a great way to win this one. We can still play some of our cards. They haven't snapped. And so unless we draw something really good on this last turn, we probably retreat out of this one. Back to my beast bounce. Finally got Bast in this morning. Could that be good to add in that deck? It might be. It would start off your Bishop, your Angela kind of a little bit higher. But I think, do you run anything that... Ooh, this one's a hard retreat. Do you run anything... Sorry. Do you run anything that is above 3? If so, that becomes like a difficult liability. And so looking at that, I know that the bounce deck archetype typically runs Collector, like Beast, Falcon. None of those would be negatively impacted. It uses Chavez, but you wouldn't have that in hand. But I think Bast might be a decent add. You might try it out for a few games, see if it adds value. Pamela. Oh man. Pamela. Oh, and by the way, you know what? I got Venomized Lockjaw variant from the Season Pass box. That's huge. So on my main account, I'm at Season Pass rank like 120 or something absurd. And I think I pulled maybe one variant from it, and it was a pixel variant. And so pulling that is huge. So we don't have our Arnim Zola. We do have Venom. But we don't have any way to move it across the board. So maybe we just push for a large Deadpool. So we can do Deadpool. We can do Deathlock. I'm going to go ahead and snap on him. We can do Deathlock next turn. With a Thanos deck, having all your cards destroyed, that's tough. Season Pass 138. Yeah, I'm pretty deep. I think it was like 124. I hit a lot whenever I was doing the event grind. And so... yeah, it's not very often that you get the variants from the Season Pass. I think next season I'm gonna save all of mine up, and I think I'm gonna save all of them up and do like a short video just unboxing like 50 Season Pass reserves. Did you see the funny username plus title combo on the Snap subreddit? Yusuf, I haven't. Is it worth jumping over and checking out? And so the peak doesn't help us here. It hurts our death. It helps our Bucky Barnes, but we're gonna destroy it anyways. I wonder what win rate is for. I wonder what a world record is for the highest Season Pass level. It's sadly it's pretty high. So there's a couple of ways that you can manipulate it so that you can just continually play games, and you're forcing your MMR to be incredibly low. And so then you're just getting Season Pass XP every single, like all day, every day. And so, sadly, it's pretty high. You should definitely check it out when you get time. I will. I'll check it out after the stream. So we do have She-Hulk. We have the Death. We have the Wave. So we've destroyed. So it brought it down to a 6 base. So it's a free card now, right? So next turn, whenever we wave, we'll be able to do 3 cards on that last turn. Arnim Zola is not great, but we could stack our She-Hulk and Death to double down on the chances that we hit a good target with Arnim Zola. I think I like that. Oh no, we're not waving this turn. We're just going to Deadpool this turn. We'll wave next turn. Yeah, she got switched over to... Wait, no. To the 6 cost, which will bring it down. Rebel, think it's worth Hulkbuster in the Deadpool Wolverine deck? I think it slows it down too much. So the chances of having both of those in hand, along with your kill conditions, I think it just slows down that snowball. It does make for very large Deadpools, but then you're really reliant on the Deadpool combo. And so like these games that we've played, I've had Deadpool just so rarely that having something that really tries to enable him, like feels in general just feels kind of bad. So if we do wave here, we should be able to do all 3 next turn. Oh, Spider-Man lockdown would hurt us though. The snap got him. A lot of people are still conservative. It's the last couple of hours before the season's over. So if they're still trying to push, we're seeing a lot of conservative people. Bro, would you play the next game with me? Like as a viewer match, if I'm doing viewer matches, I think I have to make it fair and do like a raffle. I would like to do more of those, but I also want to make sure that it's fair for everyone. I would like to do like an extended stream where I can just do viewer matches. Ray, do you think Bast can fit into this deck? I don't think it can fit into this version. If you're going with Bast, I think it would have to be an all-in Deadpool deck. Something where you're really reliant on like a big Deadpool. Because as it is now, Death and She-Hulk would both be greatly hindered by the Bast. It's not the viewer match stream. So right now we haven't been doing viewer matches. Right now we've been doing, we're just trying to climb. I'm trying to hit 90 on our alternate account before the season ends. One person I was against had the name title combo of "You are absolute garbage." I've also seen the "You lose, do not emote," and I feel like every time like I actually emote against them, I lose. He has Zola too. If you have Galactus, playing it is a must. Oh yeah, for that last game, absolutely. Like we had to. Rebel, thank you for all the content. You helped me reach Infinite. That's huge, Rebel. Infinite's no small grind, and so that's huge. I'm glad you were able to get there this season. We got kind of lucky with Wolverine bouncing to the hub instead of Jotunheim, but we destroy one more. Or if we skip here, that'll bring She-Hulk down to 3. Normally it would bring it down to 2, and then we could do both She-Hulk and Wave to do 2 cards on the last turn. But since it got hit with Icebox, we're not going to be able to do that playline, so it becomes a little bit harder to utilize. What's your favorite deck and favorite card? My favorite card is Captain Marvel. I don't use it very often. And we're going to kill Wolverine again. It's not a great play line, but I think we're going to do it. My favorite deck right now is probably like a Shuri ramp deck. It's super straightforward, so you can grind it out for an absurd number of games. Nito doesn't necessarily help us there. You can grind it out for an absurd number of games. And it's very straightforward, so you can really easily identify if you have the chance to win or if you don't. So that's probably my favorite archetype right now. Is this, the Sauron. Sauron makes that deck way better though. And I run it with Sauron. Outside of that, my favorite archetype that's not necessarily great, but just for fun, is like a debris junk deck. I've always really enjoyed the junk deck style games. And so that's my favorite archetype that's kind of off meta or underperforming. I think we're gonna kill Wolverine again. Marvel writer quote. That's probably an exact quote too. What's your current Shuri list? I don't have it handy on this account. But I think it's the one that it's very similar to the one that I ran right whenever it came out, but I added in an arrow to kind of pull any kind of double Spider-Man lockdowns or Shang-Chi plays away from those key targets. Do you ever win like this? We might. Well, Captain Marvel might go into mid. We could also split it into Jotunheim, but I think we're just going to lock in this one and see how it goes. Doctor Doom is big. But is it big enough? It is big enough. Big enough. Andrea? Hey, TLSG in chat, is there any subs to Venom on this deck? I know I'm probably asking for the impossible, but I really like the deck. For this version, I think Venom really helps give you that kind of continuity of being able to do multiple playlines. I think without Venom, I would probably go with a more traditional like Death Wave style. So the more traditional Deathwave style would end up being more like having Arrow, Magneto, some of those higher end late game cards with some like low destruction cards to build off of. So it would probably take out Wolverine and Deadpool. You could probably get away with slotting in Wolverine. It just wouldn't give you as much of a high roll. But once you get Venom, I think that's really what makes this deck kind of shine. And then Rav, do you have a Discord server? We do. I think we're going to play our Deadpool, because then we can play it into Sinister London to start doubling it. We can destroy it with Venom. We can just really start snowballing. I think that's pretty decent. We do have a Discord server. It should be in the... Can't get any big games. Saved my life. It should be in the description of the video. A link to it should be there. What did you put the name TLSG? What's the history of the channel and the name? What does it stand for? So there are many origin stories for where TLSG came from or what it stands for. But I knew when Marvel Snap came out that I can't even. I can't. I can't. I knew that I was going to start creating content, and I knew that I notoriously I can never be on time. So like even with my family, they have to tell me that whatever event or meeting or whatever we have is 30 minutes earlier than it actually is, because I'm always late. Like I no matter how many alarms I set, no matter how I have to lie to myself and tell myself it's at 3 when it's really at 3:30 to have any chance of getting there anywhere close. And so I knew with Marvel Snap that I was going to start creating content, and I knew that with that I would probably do live streams, and I knew that tradition would probably carry over, and that I can't help but be late. It's just one of those things. And so with that, the Cosmo hurts. I should have known with the snap into it that it would be some kind of counter. But so knowing that I would be late, knowing that I would be streaming, I thought like they're just gonna start calling me or know me as like that late streamer guy, that late streamer gamer. And so I decided to shorten it. I just tried to get ahead of the curve and just kind of own that title. And so that's where we came up with TLSG. There's a lot of origins, a lot of origin stories, a lot of ways to swing it. What it actually stands for is that live stream guy. I like 6 years ago I had a Twitch channel for all of like a day. It was probably like 2 weeks. And chat, I thought it'd be funny if I am very bad at lying. It's a wonder that I'm ever even halfway decent at poker, because I'm terrible at lying. But it really stands for that live stream guy. I thought it'd be funny if while I was streaming, you saw it and wanted to tell your friend, and you were like, hey, have you seen that live stream guy? And they're like, which one? And so during the week that I streamed from that one, chat shortened it to TLSG for short. I just like to come up with all kinds of whatever kind of crazy origin stories I can. So it's a multiple choice. The origin story is definitely a multiple choice test. So it's not that lying Snap gamer. It probably is as far as the origin stories go. It probably is. Yash, it's like I also subscribe to many other channels like Cozy Snap, but I saw your channel first and subbed to you. That's huge. I know we have a lot of great creators creating content right now, and so just being here and enjoying the content is huge. TLSG is like the Joker. His origin story is multiple choice. Yeah, it just depends on the day. We're gonna retreat out of this one. They countered us at every step of the way there. With the Cosmo, with the armor, with the arrow, it was just an awful game. Do we pivot? So I have the junk deck. We have the junk deck that we ran a while back. That's always kind of fun. It's not huge on cubes. We have the hazmat deck. Again, it was pretty fun, but it wasn't huge on cubes either. We have the Thanos deck that I got that I got destroyed with in the tournament I played recently, but I don't necessarily want to play Thanos. We have the Lockjaw rotation, which is always decent. And something that I haven't been able to make work, but Mogwai tweeted this, I think it was either today or yesterday, and it was a movement style deck, and I just lost so many cubes with it. I can't make it work. It's too big brain for me. So which one? Which one should we switch over to? And then Yash, would you ever collaborate with other YouTubers and play with them? Yeah, I'm actually working on a couple of them right now. But I think that our Snap community is incredibly positive, and I'd love to match up with anybody that I can. But I have a couple that I'm working on syncing up with. Pamela, all right, gotta go to sleep now. It's late here in Indonesia. I hope that you have a great rest of your night. And we'll see you in the next one. The junk deck, yeah, we can do the junk deck for a little bit. At least while we're reading through the rest. Movement, Mr. Beast. Wait. Love junk decks, hazmat, junk. Okay, we'll do the junk deck for a little bit. Do you stream on Twitch too, or just YouTube? Right now, it's just on YouTube. If I was ever to kind of switch over to more of a like full-time stream style, like if I was streaming like full-time, I would switch over to Twitch just because it's a little bit easier to navigate around like video releases and things like that. But at least for now, we're just doing it on YouTube. We do a stream on Modok Discard when he drops. So I'm going to do a video like right after he comes out. And then I do plan on, I don't know if I'm going to do a second video build on him tomorrow or if I'm going to do a stream. It's going to be one of those two. So there will either be a double release tomorrow, or we'll do a video release and then a live stream around it. Does subbing on Twitch still help? I have a free 1 month every month. Yeah, so it still helps. I still get it's still like a membership here. I still get like that portion of the subscription. So if you have a free one over there, it does still help. YouTube is better for watching. I don't know about streaming part. So there's just a few there's some cool, so my biggest issue, if I was doing it like more full time or doing longer streams, is that it starts interrupting or hurting like the potential push of your other videos. And so it's promoting your stream rather than like the structured video that you release. And so then they kind of like feed off of each other, and they kind of hurt each other. Is why if I was doing longer streams, I would do it over on Twitch. But at least for now, it makes more sense to do it here. The negative zone is crazy for this deck. And then with Morag, if we could somehow have got them completely capped out here, it would have been huge. If we do this, that's 6. That's not going to be enough to win the middle location. We actually have to push for far right and far left. So maybe we do Mojo over there. Or on the last turn, we do Mojo and Polaris. Nah, but that'd be a gamble between which one of these it would pull out. We should have held our Demon so that we could do Demon plus Gamora on the last turn. I think that would have been a better play line. What is your real name? My real name is Justin. And then what country are you from? I'm in India. I'm from the US. And then Hydrix, welcome. I see that you did jump in. You just pulled Luke Cage, besides Hazmat. Is he a universally useful 2-cost card? So he undoes.
I just hit infinite thanks for your videos and explanations/guides. I really appreciate all the help. Smiley face.
Thank you so much for Obscura for the super chat, for the donation. The support is greatly appreciated. I can't begin to thank you enough. I think we do that and we should be able to win it, right? Unless they have just a massive card in negative zone. It's either, or let's switch it around. Let's do Gamora over here, Titania over here. The 5 would push us to 7. And this, yeah, Gamora right, I think, is the play line. You're right. But Scott, Luke Cage undoes Scorpion. It undoes like negative zone. So you get some good just like tech value. So even if you just have him as a sometimes useful card in a deck, he undoes Jotunheim. So if your cards have been reduced turn after turn, he undoes that as well. So a lot of good, just kind of decent value if he's just teched in into some certain decks that can be that surprise factor. But what if they have something that buffs all their cards? We're gonna snap anyways. If they have something that buffs all their cards, we lose the left lane. But I think it's worth the risk. We're gonna try and climb here. Steaming mangoes. As a streamer myself, YouTube is so much better for quality, but has next to no discoverability. That's true. I really want YouTube to improve. Twitch needs a viable competitor. It does. It needs something to just like keep it in line. We do get the 4 cubes with the junk deck. This is probably one of the best versions of a junk deck that I have that I've played. The Titania creates so many cool like counter play lines and forcing them to have their locations full that it's just incredibly it's really fun to play. Did you see the leaked balance changes for Silver Surfer and Zabu? I haven't seen them yet. I've heard a couple of like murmurs, but I haven't seen any like actual leaks. Why is it called junk? Just because you give them junk? Yeah. So you send like rocks their way with debris, you send Green Goblin their way, you use Black Widow to send them a Widow's Bite, just like cards that offer them no value. But somebody asked if they should buy Shuri. I think Shuri is huge. Shuri, I think, is one of the strongest cards right now. Probably one of the most overtuned cards, just because of the crazy plays and things that it enables. So she's one of my highest win rates and favorite cards from the season. I play her more than I play. Wrong layout deck on the left. Oh wait, the cards, right? I didn't create a snippet of the cards, so we're gonna throw our YouTube chat back up. I didn't create a new snippet for them, so we'll go ahead and we'll fit you guys in. That'll work. So I think we're gonna play Green Goblin here. Thanks for the call out for that, by the way, Johnny. Hobgoblin too slow for this deck? I think so. The problem with Hobgoblin is a lot of times it comes down to like there's only one slot left whenever you play it, so it becomes a gamble. And so I think it is just a touch too slow. So they haven't played anything for the first several turns. I think we skip here. We try to get the value from our Sun. Ooh, the double Shuri is scary, but we do have the Shang-Chi. So we might be able to force them into pulling all of their cards into a couple lanes, and then we can Shang-Chi to swing it in our favor. Which I think is what we're going to do. The double Shuri is going to be massive. It could be just an absurdly large card. But if we can angle it where we Shang-Chi both, or force one lane to not have it where we can just win, then that's going to be incredibly ideal. Ooh, so we made him pull into 0. So whatever this card is not going to have its own reveal. That arrow's not bad. Need to buy a lotto ticket? Had Shuri pinned, then pulled her from the collector's cache. That's huge. And then we also get the value from the double Red Skull here. They can't arrow us. They go first, so even if we destroy it and they did something like an Arnim Zola or something strange, it should be absolutely fine. I think we're going to do Shang-Chi, and then we'll do Titania. That Red Skull is indeed massive. And then thank you, Johnny, for joining as a channel member. It looks like, what is this, month 2? Thank you for resubbing as a channel member, Johnny. I appreciate it. And I'm glad that you're still here to continue to enjoy the content. So happy to see your views just skyrocketing. I think a lot of my learning curve was just figuring out like I'm not a content creator just by nature. This is my first run at it, and so it was weird trying to figure out like, I don't know what performed best and what was gonna be kind of what works well for me and my style. What's your favorite location? Ooh, that's a tough one because there's a lot of good locations. I don't know that I have just a favorite one. I know that some like crazy ones like Sinister London, Asgard, I think are all very, very strong. I think the Raft is also a really unique one. Doc Ock is always a YOLO. Not always. I like to use Doc Ock when they only have like one space available to like limit the YOLO possibilities. But if you're using it into an open lane, yeah, at that point you're just YOLOing. That's 2 in a row for our junk deck. We're doing better with this than we were with Wolverine. Have you seen the beta locations? So like no, I haven't. Like the closed beta, so like before the game launched or before the game opened up for a closed beta. If so, no, I haven't. What would you say is a sub for Titania? Probably, it's tough to sub it out, but I think probably maybe like Ant-Man. I think Mogwai used a very, very similar version to this that ran Ant-Man instead of Titania. You get a lot of Titania value, but I think Ant-Man's a decent sub as well. Rocket Raccoon could be decent, similar to like your Gamora to get those triggers. I think either one is pretty decent, or would be a decent replacement. Zabu negativity, here I come. Jonah, do you foresee this becoming a trend where Second Dinner releases overtuned cards via the paid battle pass only to nerf them once their seasons are over? I hope not. I hope that's not the case. But I think only time will tell. So, in looking at all of the season pass, not just the last 2, we've had some that are really lackluster. So we've had like Miles, who just doesn't really get much play. We've had Nick Fury, didn't get much play. Daredevil, which initially got some play, but not a lot. It just like slowly found its niche. And so I don't know. I think it was just like the perfect storm where 2 really strong cards came out right in a row. I don't think, I'm hoping that it's not every single time. But that I think only time will tell. So we could do Polaris to try to pull the Rock over, but we might accidentally pull the Sunspot over and just lose in the Savage Land instead. Oh wait, we can't play 1-cost cards there. So in that case, maybe we Polaris to pull one of their cards over into Hellfire Club to further cap it out. But they used Electro, so they could be using Galactus. If we pull Sunspot, that feels really bad. But that's the 1 out of 4 shot here. I heard Nimrod is after MODOK. Nimrod's going to be big. Nimrod, I think, is going to create a lot of unique deck archetypes that are going to be either really fun or really frustrating. One of the two. So we no longer have to worry about our Titania. And because of Dream Dimension, we can actually play it in the right lane this turn. Or maybe we save it with Gamora. We let Sunspot absorb. On the last turn, we can do Gamora plus our Titania, depending on where they play this turn, to try and outpower them. Wave was a Battle Pass card, too. It was. But when Wave came out, she didn't really get a lot of use either. She got some use, but a lot of it was just... That Arnim Zola is really unfortunate. Not for us. Well, a little bit for us, but a lot more for them. That forces this lane into only being a max of 6. And so that's a really easy like swing location. We can't play 1-cost cards there. Oh, we should have played it last turn. That makes us do at least Gamora. And then we can do Titania. They're going to have to swing both of these lanes. This is a pretty large lead as it is. You bought Hela from the shop and reached rank 60 to 70. Invisible Hela can be really big, but if you start running into big counterplays, is when it really starts struggling. You can lose some big cube games if you're like really leaning on Invisible Woman, and then all of a sudden they drop Cosmo there. Can be the downside to that archetype. And so sometimes I like Invisible Woman. Sometimes I like to just run it like straight as is, and then just kind of create a hybrid version. Could Hela Odin ramp work? I was thinking about something like that, especially with MODOK, ramping into MODOK potentially to give yourself more turn to draw into your Hela. but I don't know how consistent it would be. I think it's gonna take some testing. But I did have a base build to try and see if that would be something that would be viable. I don't know that it is. I feel like it's probably not going to be consistent enough, but it is something that I have on my list to try out. Doc Ock was 6 though, right? Or was he not? Modok, Hella Odin, and Magneto is a backup to pull Cosmo away. It could be it could be a pretty decent play line. And so, are you thinking if you're using the Magneto to pull the Cosmos away, are you thinking of like just a ramp component, but the Invisible Woman version to hide your cards if needed? If so, I think that's kind of interesting. If they release a card that lets you see what you're going to draw next, that will be nice with MODOK. That would be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool to see. Heimdall with a MODOK Hella deck might work. It might, but then that's a lot of RNG and a lot of things you're not able to fully control. So a lot of times I think it could stab you in the back as well. I think we're going to pull a rock over into Throne Room and fully cap it out. Next turn, we can do a Doc Ock to force them to maybe pull into their Silver Surfer. On the last turn, we can do Gamora and Titania. A single trigger from Silver Surfer will bump these to 5. As long as we play something higher than 5, then we should be able to get, I think, the value in Throne Room. Makes it so you disregard any Cosmo play. With a ramp component? So like Heimdall shift all your cards and then Hella? Oh, if it's behind Invisible Woman and then you shift them? If it's behind Invisible Woman, they actually don't shift with it. Never Shine. Any replacements for Debris? Debris does a lot of good for like clogging this deck. I don't know that there's a straight like replacement for her. So it's a Mr. Negative. Maybe they're going with like the greedy, like the really greedy version. I think we still Doc Ock anyways. From Daily Bugle, we got their Ironheart. I think we're gonna, oh, so they play a card in Daily Bugle. Oh, that could be a problem. Not only a little bit greedy, that's a very greedy version. To have the Mr. Negative and the Jane Foster. And so now they have their 0 cost cards. They pulled at least 2. So one would probably be Silver Surfer. The other would probably be maybe Iron Man. Maybe Mystique. Oh, that's kind of scary. I know we were going to do Gamora. There's no 3 cost cards over here. Maybe we do Mojo. Because that's going to push it up to 6. Or that's going to push it up to 8. That would be our highest power card. We could do Titania here, and we could just do a pity Ironheart trigger. If they have Wong and Mystique, we just lose this one. Yeah, Jane Foster in a negative deck is very very scary because the chances of it working out like that are very slim. Have you seen the Surfer Zabu nerfs? No, I haven't. I haven't seen like exactly what they are. Okay, so the Iron Man Mystique to copy the Iron Man, that's fine. We're losing that lane anyways. We should be able to win the left and the far right. Oh my gosh, what a mad lad. That could have been so scary. TLSG, that super strong Bass Zabu Surfer deck. What changes would you make based on the leaked nerfs? So I haven't seen the exact nerfs that were leaked. Yeah, those were a couple of tough games, but we are steadily climbing with this one. Since we switched over to it, we went from what 1 cube gain up to 12. It was very fast too. Martin, I don't have a girlfriend. If I did, don't tell my wife. I have a wife. I have a daughter. I have a son. So I don't have a girlfriend, but I am married. Thoughts on Spider-Woman instead of Gamora? I like to run Spider-Woman on my junk deck instead of her for consistent swings. I think she's a decent change. So Spider-Woman is a 5/7, right? And so then she should be able to guarantee at least an additional 3. So most of the time, even in a capped out lane, you're going to get like 10 or 11 value, whereas the max from Gamora is 12. And so I think it's a decent switch. They both benefit from Kamartage. Yeah, I don't think it hurts any. I think either one are going to be pretty interchangeable depending on if you're able to fully cap out their lanes or not. That Wolverine deck is fun, but I don't believe it's very strong. I think it has potential to be strong, but I think it'll be really meta dependent. Is it going to be worth getting MODOK? If you enjoy discard, I think so. If not, I would say, well, for me, if you're going to make any purchases in the game, the Battle Pass is the most bang for your buck. You're going to get the most credits, the most like cosmetics, the most variants out of any purchase. But if you're just looking at it as a card, I don't know. I think we have to wait and see. TLSG, I finally found a link to the early development screenshot. Is it okay if I post it here? I think you would really enjoy looking it over on stream. Completely different art style. I don't know if YouTube allows it. You can try and shoot it over. And if it's anything bad, then please don't let it be anything bad. Yeah, Battle Pass is always worth it if you're gonna make like any purchases whatsoever. But if you're looking at like, is it just worth it for the card alone? I don't know. I think only time will tell. So we're gonna pull into the Wong lane. We don't want them to get their big payoff. Any ideas for Cerebro 6? Sadly, the Onslaught buff changed that archetype. I haven't tested out Cerebro 6 for quite a while. Cerebro is probably one of my least used archetypes. So I don't. Cerebro 2 and 3 are the ones that I've frequented recently. It is in negative zone. It's always insane, but anytime I see a Wong, that's like my go-to lane. Because if you're going to be running Wong, there's a very specific reason that you want Wong in the deck. So like some kind of big hazmat trigger or gambit trigger. And we blocked both of the gambit plays. That is huge. If this is an Odin, okay, and then the Silver Surfer, that's huge. Like that is their 3 big payoff cards. We have Shang-Chi to take out the massive Wolfsbane, and then they're left with only 2 power in Elysium. Then they play Mystique. Wow. No shot. The Gambit hit the Wakandan targets twice. Both of them. Next level big brain play, just Tekken Wong for no reason. So they do still have a small chance here. They only have 1 card in hand. They would have to get very specific cards, or like really strong stuff. But I think for the most part, we should have this one. If I don't know if they run Luke Cage and Hazmat, since it is like a Gambit Wolfsbane style build. I think maybe we do. I think maybe we do Gamora and Sunspot. We save our Shang-Chi for next turn. We can do our Titania if we want or need to. Yeah, the splitting of the Wong was really smart. Seeing that we snapped, it was a really heads up play. I wish they hadn't done it, but they don't play into mid. They still have a shot. Mr. Negative is interesting. That hurts them quite a bit. Wong Surfers equals lame. That boy TLSG with the live streams. I mean, we're trying out here. So, you ever do something like that? They could have maybe White Tiger with the Mr. Negative version, which would send 2 Tigers here. We would lose this lane. We would win this one. We're going to swing and win this lane. The rocks hurt them even more. 0-5 Iron Man incoming. It could be. But if they play it in negative zone, that's not going to be big enough for them to swing, especially with the extra 3 power from the rock. I think we're okay. What if it's a tiebreaker? Do we ever do Viper before we Shang-Chi their lane? We get extra 3 power that way, but it takes the extra 1 out of mid. We're gonna do that. If they somehow move these cards, I'm gonna cry. Don't do it, no. We're gonna do it. Debris then Viper before Titania. Ooh, we could have done that. Oh, I didn't. Do you think there's a shot that we get 2 over there? I don't think there is. Debris, Viper, you. Okay. Okay, that should be the play line. I don't think, okay. We overthought that and spent way too much time navigating and crafting the perfect in-game play, and they were probably just waiting for us to retreat. Yashich, are you headed off? If so, I'm glad that you joined the stream. YouTube is my part-time job right now. I have a full-time job. And actually, I'll have to go really soon. We're gonna play one more because we've been on a tear with this list. I'm gonna do one more, and then I'll have to jump back over into work mode. But YouTube is my part-time job. I almost forgot about my full-time job that I have meetings coming up for that I'll have to prep for. So if you wait long enough, the opponent retreats. I love this deck. This is one of my favorite decks, and it. Up until this point, like just the debris junk, like actual junk version just kind of felt lackluster. This one feels really solid in a lot of scenarios. Now, if you're running into Killmonger, that's almost a direct counter to this. It's really hard to navigate around the Killmonger, but otherwise, incredibly fun deck. What's your full-time job? My full-time job is a data analyst. So I take and I build queries for all of our different systems. From those queries, I manipulate the data into digestible versions for our leaders to quickly and easily assess. So numbers, looking at numbers pretty much all day. So I think we're going to split our power here. We're going to do Polaris. We're going to do Hood on the right-hand side because we don't know if we're going to get something to send. TLSG stole Mogwai or Hoogland's deck. Davion. So I know that, and I didn't know it at the time, because I borrowed most of this deck. I ran into it on the ladder and I just got destroyed. And so from there, I recreated it. I guess Mogwai ran a very, very similar version. It didn't run Titania, it ran Ant-Man instead. So I think they crafted a very close to this version first. But from there, I stole it from the ladder. I didn't create this one. This is just one that was on the ladder. Do any of your coworkers play Snap? Not that I know of. And as far as I know, none of them know that I stream or create content either. You watch numbers go up? Can I ask in general what you do, like engineer, business? So it's more like recruiting, retention, like those sorts of efforts. And depending on what we're seeing, it kind of shifts, but that's like the gist of it. Oh no, why did I snap? This could easily be a Galactus deck with this lineup. That wasn't smart. Well, we're stuck with it now. No, I'm joking. Other creators got called out using similar decks. I think it's just one of those things. With 12 cards, he's a chart farmer. He makes money graphs go up and to the right. That's what we try to do. Every once in a while, they go down into the left. Yeah, we watch the numbers very closely to see if there's any kind of like outcomes from any kind of like changes that we make, or if there's any benefit to doing it. I mean, we'll take it. Maybe because we lost initiative, they didn't think they could win. I don't know. We were going to be able to do like a Shang-Chi, a Titanian, and a Demon, which would have been a pretty decent play line. Hoogland made a hilarious video. Oh, he made one about this deck? I had no idea that he did. Because I created this deck like right before I got really sick. And then like everything else that came or spun off of it from there, I was a little bit behind on. But like it was about... He got shared to the Shang-Chi. Yeah, that's true. I didn't know that it was over this one. Why'd they retreat? If I had Galactus and I knew I was going to be putting... Usually with Galactus, you want to lose initiative so you can play like all of your big cards. You can play your Shang-Chi without really worrying and knowing that you can... So that you know you can outplay your opponent. Without being able to do that, it's really scary to go into like a 4 cube or an 8 cube in-game. Could have been negative Galactus too. I think I did see the thumbnail from Huynh that said like, I got caught stealing decks in Marvel Snap, but it wasn't one that I watched. I had no idea exactly what it was over. So they have the Daredevil and Sunspot that could still be a Galactus, and actually Varmag has ran Galactus on me in the past. So what we're gonna do? Yeah, the X Mansion is gonna clog up one lane. We're gonna clog up the other, and them knowing that they could, even without the Green Goblin, had they lost Eternity range, it was going to be really hard for them to get a Galactus playoff. And so we do get the easy 1-cuber. It was a troll about stealing decks. Yeah, with 12 cards, like maybe in like Hearthstone or Magic the Gathering, where your decks are much larger. Maybe you can claim like I created like this core deck. This has 12 cards, and so we have just a handful of like good archetypes that are standard, and then like the few cards, like the few tech changes or choice changes in there are few and far between. Yeah, so it's really hard to say like this is so and so's deck. Now, with that being said, I think KM Best like dubbed the Death Wave Arrow like archetype all by himself, and so that is one that I don't think there's a debate about who made that one. But everything else is kind of just like building off of everything else that we've seen and played against, and yeah. Advait, I actually don't know how to pronounce it from that spelling. That one made me more confused than it cleared things up. Yeah, 12 cards with a handful of archetypes, and so from there it's just like getting creative with how you manipulate them, depending on buffs, nerfs, what you're seeing in the meta, that sort of thing. Is Viper really in the deck? She never shows up. I know. I haven't seen Viper, Green Goblin, Titania together since we started running it, but we've been doing good, so we're okay. And yeah, if you have the link for the Huynh, I'm gonna say Huynh, the Huynh video. If you have it, you can share it. He was getting flack for playing Have Some Crap deck, and people saying that he stole it from you or Mogwai. Oh, and he made that in response. So both me and Jeff have done a lot of like send 'em junk, send 'em crap style decks. It's like, I know that he's ran at least 4 or 5 different versions. I've done at least 3 or 4 different versions. And so, yeah, like the cards in between are... it's a long O, like the O rhymes with road. Road. Hoagland? Have I been saying it? Have I been saying it? Been saying it wrong for like 7 months now, and that is the first time anybody has corrected it. If it's Hoagland, that's good to know. They didn't cap out the raft, did they? We could force them to cap out the raft. That gives them a free resource that we don't necessarily want them to have. I think in this one we're just gonna do the Doc Ock YOLO. Dockster, how's it going? I'm glad you were able to jump in and join us. We are just kind of winding down. We've been live for a little over 2 hours, so I will have to jump over into work mode. Actually, let me check to make sure I'm not missing a... Oh, I am missing a meeting. This will have to be my last one. I'm 5 minutes late to a meeting that I was supposed to prep for. So after this one, we'll end the stream. Have I seen the nerfed leaks? I haven't. I will check them after this though. Is there anything kind of surprising with the leaks? Let's go YOLO Doc Ock. It didn't help us. It actually hurt us quite a bit. I think we lose this one. We do have Shang-Chi to take out this lane. That's not going to be enough. I barely got here. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I would like to go longer. My meeting started at 1. I'm awful. Zabu is 2, cost reduces by 1. I think he'll still be playable at that. We're getting in the way of gaming yet again. I know. At least you got to pop in for a little bit. Yeah, we're going to retreat out of this one. We actually had some really good games with the junk deck. The Wolverine deck was a little bit back and forth, but the junk deck, we had a pretty big tear. We had 15 positive cubes over the course of like the last maybe 20 or 30 minutes. And so I'll probably play this a little bit more throughout the day, see if we can hit 90 before the season ends. This is my alternate account, so if we hit it, great. If not, that's all right. But I am going to go ahead and end the stream here. Thank you guys for being here. I hope that you guys are having a fantastic day, and I hope that I see you guys in the next stream or the next video. And as always, I appreciate you guys so very much just for being here and enjoying the content. I hope that you have a fantastic day. This has been TLSG. Later, guys.